In this video, I am going to show you how to simplify, multiply, and divide rational expressions. Now, a rational expression is a ratio of two polynomial expressions. So to simplify a rational expression, first thing is to factor everything that can be factored, and then you simplify the monomials. When you simplify the monomials, you want to use the exponent rules and then eliminate common binomial factors. So if you have common binomial factors, you can cross those out. Okay, so let's take a look at an example of how to simplify a rational expression. Given 2r squared, take away 2r minus 40 divided by 8r plus 32. Okay, so we're going to simplify this. We're going to reduce it. Okay, so to do that, first thing we have to do is factor everything that can be factored. So we factor the numerator, we factor the denominator, and then we eliminate common binomial factors. So for the numerator, as you can see, we can pull a 2 out. So 2 is the greatest common factor. So if you pull a 2 out, you're left with r squared. Take away r minus 20. And then for your denominator, you can pull an 8 out. 8 is the greatest common factor. So if you pull 8 out, you're left with r plus 4. Okay, because 8 goes into 8 one time, and then 8 goes into 32 4 times. We are not done yet because we have to try to factor this trinomial right here into two binomials. We're going to use the AC method to do that. Okay, so A times C is going to be 1 times negative 20. Well, that's going to be negative 20. Your B is negative 1. So now we have to come up with factors of negative 20 that when we add those numbers up, it comes out to negative 1. So that would be negative 5 and then a positive 4. So the trinomial is factored into two binomials, and that's going to be r take away 5 because of negative 5, and then r plus 4 because of the positive 4. And then it's all over 8 r plus 4. Okay, that is the first thing you have to do. Factor everything that can be factored, and we did that. Now we have to eliminate common binomial factors. So it looks like r plus 4 here. And then cancel with r plus 4 here. So we're able to eliminate those. And then we can reduce 2 over 8 into 1 over 4. So you have r take away 5 left up top, and then your denominator is 4. Okay, and this is your final answer. Okay, so we're going to take a look at another example. Okay, so here we have 45 take away 5w divided by 3w squared minus 28w plus 9. Okay, so we're going to simplify this rational expression. So this expression, as you can see, there is no monomial, so you don't have to worry about that. Up top, you have a binomial, and then your denominator is a trinomial. So what we're going to do here is we're going to factor everything that can be factored, and then we are going to eliminate the common binomial factors. So for the numerator, you can pull the 5 out. So 5 is your greatest common factor. So if you pull a 5 out, 5 goes into 45 9 times. And then 5 goes into 5w, w time. And then for your denominator, since it's a trinomial and you cannot pull anything out, okay, because 3 cannot go into 28 exactly. So you're not going to be able to pull a 3 out. So what we're going to do is we're going to factor the trinomial using the AC method and try to come up with two binomials. So AC, A times C is 3 times 9. That's going to be 27. And then your B is negative 28. Two numbers multiply to get 27. But when you add them, comes out to negative 28. So that would be negative 27 and negative 1. So right now we're going to write W take with 27 and then W minus 1. Since A is not 1, we're going to factor this using the slip and slide method. To do that, you would have to divide this by A. So A is 3. So we're going to divide this by 3 and then divide this by 3. Okay, so here we have 5, 9 minus W. And then here, 3 goes into 27 9 times. So this is going to be W minus 9. And then for over here, since 3 cannot go into 1 exactly, that means the 3 is going to come in front of the W. And that's going to make 3W minus 1. So now we have to eliminate the common binomial factors. So if you look at these two factors, 9 minus W and then W minus 9, they're not exactly the same, but they're opposite. Okay, so you can still eliminate those, but it's just going to turn out to be negative 1 instead of a positive 1. Okay, and then you're left with just negative 5 up top because 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. And then your denominator is going to be 3W minus 1. Okay, so with this, there is nothing else you can do with. So this would be your final answer. Okay, so now I'm going to show you examples of how to multiply rational expressions. We're going to look at one example with monomials, and then another example will have binomials and trinomials. So if the problem contains monomials only, you multiply together, meaning you multiply your numerators, you multiply your denominators, and then you simplify. Now, if it has binomials and trinomials, you want to factor everything you can first, then simplify. Okay, so let's take a look at an example here. So here we have 4a squared b squared all over 15ab to the third power multiply with 5a to the third power b to the sixth power all over 12a to the fourth b to the seventh. Okay, so here we're multiplying rational expression. As you can see, we have all monomials. Okay, those are the expression with just one term. What we're going to do here is we're going to multiply numerator with numerator using the exponent rules, and then denominator with denominator, and then from there we're going to simplify. Okay, so 4 times 5 is going to be 20, and then a squared times a to the third is going to be a to the fifth. So when you multiply powers, you add the exponent, and then b to the 8. Okay, so 15 times 12 is 180. And then a to the fifth and then b to the 10. Okay, and then now we're going to simplify. So we're going to reduce the 20 over 180. Okay, looks like we can take the 0 out, and then 2 goes into 18 9 times. So this would be 1 over 9. And then a to the 5th, a to the 5th, we can eliminate those. Okay, so when you divide powers, you take away the exponent. So 5 take away 5 is 0. And then anything to the 0 is 1. So they cancel out. So you got 1 over 9. And then b to the 8 take away 10 is going to be negative 2. But then again, you cannot have negative exponent. So that's going to go to the denominator with the 9. So you end up with 1 over 9 b squared. Okay, and then this would be your final answer. Okay, so let's take a look at another example. So this one we have 4x squared take away 4. Okay, divided by 2x squared plus 4x minus 6. Okay, and then we're going to multiply that with x squared plus x minus 6, and then all over 4x squared plus 8x. So this rational expression has binomials and trinomials. So in a case like this, you want to factor everything that can be factored, and then you eliminate the common factors. Okay, we're going to start with the 4x squared minus 4. Okay, looks like we can pull a 4 out. Okay, you pull a 4 out, you're left with x squared minus 1. So this is a difference of 2 squares, so we can come back and factor this. We're going to leave it alone for now. We're going to come back and factor that. Okay, and then your denominator here, this trinomial, looks like you can pull a 2 out for now. So if I pull a 2 out, I have x squared plus 2x minus 3. And then we're going to come back and try to factor that trinomial. Now over here, I'm just going to go ahead and factor this trinomial for now, okay, into 2 binomials. So we can factor into x plus 3 times x minus 2. Okay, because your AC is negative 6 and then your B is 1. So it has to do with positive 3 and negative 2. And then the denominator, pull a 4x out, and that's the greatest common factor. So you're left with x plus 2. So here we have 4, and then x squared minus 1. That can be factored into x plus 1 times x minus 1. Okay, and then the denominator 2, and then here we can factor this trinomial into x plus 3 times x minus 1. And then over here, they all been factored, so nothing else that we can do to it. So I'm just going to rewrite those factors. So we factor everything that can be factored. So now we are going to eliminate the common binomial factors. Okay, so it looks like I can take out the x minus 1 here with the x minus 1 here. And then the x plus 3 with the x plus 3 here. Okay, and then the 4, you can cross cancel that with the 4 here. So your numerator, you're left with x plus 1 times x minus 2. And then your denominator, you're left with 2x plus 2. So it looks like there is nothing else that we can do to this, and this would be your final answer. Okay, so now we're gonna look at some examples where we are dividing rational expressions. So to divide rational expressions, you multiply by the reciprocal. We just went over examples of how to multiply, so this would not be that complicated. Basically, you're just changing it to multiply. And this is the rule to do it. Okay, so the rule is when you divide rational expressions, you multiply by the reciprocal. Okay, so let's take a look at an example. So here we have 5pq, okay, all over 16 p to the third power, and we're going to divide by 35 p squared q squared all over 8q to the fifth. Okay, as you can see, it's division. We're going to change it to multiply, so keep the first one the same. Okay, now it's going to be multiply. Because you change from divide to multiply, you have to multiply by the reciprocal to keep it the same. So this would be 8q to the fifth all over 35 p squared q squared. So you just flip it. Okay, so now it becomes multiplication. So we know how to multiply. So since these are all monomials, we're going to multiply across and then simplify. So when we multiply across, we get 5 times 8, that's 40 p q to the 6. And then your denominator, 16 times 35 is 560. And then your p to the fifth, and then q squared. Okay, and then we're going to simplify this. Okay, we can eliminate the 0 to make it easier. So 4 goes into 56 14 times. So you can reduce this to 1 over 14. So that's going to be 1 over 14. Now the exponent for this p is 1. So 1 take away 5 is going to be negative 4. Okay, so that's your p, and then we're going to come back and fix this. And then your q, 6 take away 2 is going to be 4. And then we need to take this to the denominator because it has a negative exponent. So your final answer is going to be q to the 4. So q to the 4 stays up top. And your denominator is going to be 14 p to the 4. So this here would be your final answer. Okay, so we're going to look at another example here. So here we have 2a to the third power take away 12a squared divided by a squared minus 4a take away 12, and this is division. So here we have 24a squared take away 8a to the third power all over a squared minus 8a plus 15. Okay, so division. So first thing we're going to do is change it to multiplication. So that means we keep the first expression the same. Then we change it to multiply. Now, because we changed it to multiply, we have to take the reciprocal of the second expression. So that means you got to flip it. So a squared minus 8a plus 15 all over 24 a squared minus 8a to the third power. First thing you got to do. So here we're multiplying binomials and trinomials. So what we need to do is we need to factor everything that can be factored. And then we eliminate the common factors. Okay, so there's a lot of factoring here. So for this expressions right here, I can pull out 2a squared. So 2a squared is my greatest common factor. And then I'm left with a take away 6. And then the denominator, it's a trinomial, so I can factor that into 2 binomials. So it's going to be a plus a minus. So factors of negative 12, that when you add them, it comes out to negative 4. Has to do with 6 and 2, so positive 2, negative 6. Okay, same thing over here. Trinomial, factor into 2 binomials. So I need an a times an a to get the a squared. I need 2 negative numbers, and that's going to be 5 and 3. Factors of positive 15, and you add, comes out to negative 8. And then this one, you can pull out 8a squared, and then you're left with 3 minus a. So looks like we factor everything that can be factored. There is nothing else to be factored. So now we're just going to eliminate the common factor. So here I can take out a minus 6 with this a minus 6. Eliminate those. Now here I have a minus 3, and then here I have 3 minus a. So those are opposite. So I'm going to eliminate those and make it into a negative 1 instead of a positive 1. Okay, it looks like I can take out the a squared with this a squared. And then 2 over 8 can be reduced to 1 over 4. Okay, it looks like that I'm able to eliminate all the common factors. So in my numerator, I'm left with negative 1 times a minus 5. And my denominator is going to be 4 times a plus 2. So here, distribute the negative 1. I have negative a plus 5 all over 4 times a plus 2. Okay, and this is the final answer. So this takes us to the end of this lesson on simplifying, multiplying, and dividing rational expressions.